Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TeacherCast App Spotlight. My name is Jeff Bradbury. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for watching TeacherCast and making it a part of your professional development. Hope everybody is enjoying the beginning of their school year and having a great time to this brand new year. We have today a fantastic show. Today we're going to be talking to Mariel Warnock all about Foss and the amazing Foss system that is now available for middle school students and your middle school curriculum in next generation science standards. There's of course several great ways that you can reach out and be a part of TeacherCast. We love it when you find us on Twitter at TeacherCast. Leave us a voicemail over at teachercast.net/voicemail. Email us at feedback@teachercast.net. And of course, you can subscribe to our audio and video channels over at teachercast.net/iTunes and teachercast.net/YouTube. And I got to say, last month, we had an opportunity to meet the people over at School Specialty while in Denver at the ISTE conference, and they have some amazing new products. I also had a chance to hang out with Mariel for a little bit, and she was showing me not only how Foss is being used in the elementary systems, but I actually got a chance to check out this great new system. I want to bring her on today. Mariel, welcome to the program. Tell us a little bit about what's going on these days with Foss and School Specialty.
Well, I'm with Delta Education, and Delta's core philosophy is that children learn science by doing science. And we've been building science kits for more than 30 years, everything from Delta Science modules to Science in a Nutshell. The founder of our company started out by building science kits in his garage. And over time, that's evolved to being the publisher and distributor of the Foss program developed by the Lawrence Hall of Science out at UC Berkeley. And Foss got its start with first edition in the mid-90s. And then we've rolled out several subsequent editions since then. And Foss Next Generation began rolling out in 2015. K-5 first, and we're very, very excited to be launching the start of the Foss Next Generation Middle School program right here this fall. School Specialty comes into the picture. School Specialty acquired Delta Education in 2005, so we are now part of the much, much larger School Specialty family of products. But we're very proud to be representing hands-on science and core and supplemental curriculum for the company.
So I got to tell you, we in my high school where I work were able to pilot some of the Foss products last year. I was able to work with them in 4th grade, 5th grade. If anybody out there is listening, this is a fantastic product. There's so many different things that the kids can do. What are some of the things that you are able to do with your new middle school kit?
Well, the middle school program is a revamp and extension of the original Foss middle school program, which came out in about 2000. And it's Foss Next Generation, and really all editions of Foss are a hands-on, active science-based series of investigations that incorporate reading and informational texts, science notebooking, integrating technology, going outside, real-world problem solving, and lots of really in-depth, meaty, formative assessment to inform your instruction. And so it's been wildly successful at K-5. The middle school program in first edition, that one that came out in 2000, is in tens of thousands of schools across the country. And so now we're trying to get the word out to everyone that there's a new edition in town. And if you are teaching to the next generation science standards, you will be very, very pleased with the enhancements that have been made.
I love the fact that it's a complete system. You know, there's a lot of teachers out there that are switching over to next generation science standards, and they're not quite sure what it is. For those who might be listening to this show that aren't science teachers, what is so different about next gen science standards, and maybe how it differentiates from the past scientific method way of teaching things?
Well, the biggest change in next generation science is the emphasis on science and engineering practices. Students are doing science. They're demonstrating these practices, asking questions, defining problems, creating and using models, things like that, that real scientists use these practices in their everyday lives and research. And so giving students a foundation in these practices early on in their educational careers builds a great foundation for STEM and science careers in the future. And so the next generation science standards has really shifted to students demonstrating what they can do. There's the addition of these performance expectations where you are performing, you're doing science. And so as a hands-on kit publisher and developer working with the Lawrence Hall of Science, we're so excited to see the national trends shifting towards students getting more hands-on experience with science. But we also recognize that there are a lot of teachers who science might be kind of scary for them. They don't have a background in it, whether they're an elementary teacher or they're a middle school teacher who was teaching social studies last year, and then they're told this year, guess what, you're teaching science. One of the things about the FOSS program that really flows through K-8 is the significant support for teachers. It's there if you need it. And if you are an experienced science teacher who you've got your content down pat, you love science, it's flexible enough to let you do your thing without a lot of hand-holding.
So Mariel, tell us a little bit about these kits. When a school district brings these kits in, what is actually inside these kits for students?
Well, inside the FOSS drawers, which you see right behind me, are all of the materials and teacher support and student resources that you need to actually do FOSS investigations. It includes all of the permanent materials that you need that will last for years and years and years, all of the consumable equipment that will get used up in the course of a school year that gets replenished each year. It includes teacher support in the form of an investigations guide. That's a spiral bound, very easy to use resource that has all of your investigation facilitation guidance in it. There's a soft cover teacher resources guide that has a lot of the pedagogy and strategy background. So, one of the things that we've had actually presidential award, teaching award winners say is that you don't need to be an expert to teach with FOSS. You just need to be a teacher, and that FOSS helps you become a better teacher all around by helping you increase your toolbox of teaching strategies with what's in the teacher resources. There are also FOSS Science Resources student books, which are full of great articles that have biographical sketches, scientific explanations, all in an engaging new design for the next generation edition. All comes in the box, ready to go. There's nothing else that you need to purchase other than, there's commonly available items that might be needed, rulers or Scotch tape that are not included in the kit that every teacher is going to have in their classroom. So it's really out of the box, ready to go, ready to start teaching.
What kind of feedback are you getting from teachers?
FOSS Next Generation Middle School is just getting out into the market this coming school year. We have 3 courses of the 12 in the middle school scope and sequence are available now. That's Heredity and Adaptations, Human Systems Interactions, and our Waves course. And we'll have 3 more out by the end of this school year. But the response to the K-5 portion of FOSS Next Generation has been phenomenal. Schools are gobbling it up. I mean, 80% of the state of West Virginia is going to be using FOSS Next Generation in their schools this coming school year. And the amount and the depth of NGSS connections and helping teachers understand what it means to teach the next generation in those 3 dimensions, the science and engineering practices, the disciplinary core ideas, and the cross-cutting concepts is all baked into the program in a very user-friendly way. So that's one of the big benefits for teachers is that a lot of them are faced with, okay, we're teaching these new NGSS standards, or they're in a state that has standards that are very much like the NGSS, and they're just trying to wrap their heads around it. And FOSS Next Generation really helps them do that.
As far as building this curriculum, take me through the last little bit of research that you guys have been doing. Obviously, it's been very successful elementary. Did you keep that same philosophy when you're building the middle school out, or did you have to make a little bit of a left turn because you're dealing with older students and older minds?
I don't know that I would call it a left turn. I would call it a let's turn the steering wheel a little bit to the left because, the middle school program was already developmentally differentiated from our K-5 programs in that most often middle school teachers do have a science background, not all the time, but most of the time they have a science background. So they don't need the level of structure and support and scripting that an elementary teacher might. So some of that is stripped out. There are also resources baked into that investigations guide that are much more streamlined for teachers who are familiar with science. There are also some unique ways that we use science notebooking with the Foss Middle School program, and that students are really, in effect, writing their own textbook, which I think is a really neat feature of the program. And so Foss, stepping back a little bit, Foss got its roots in multisensory education and developmentally appropriate brain research. And the program has been an outgrowth of that research since the 80s and 90s. And so that's one of the things that really is a true part of the program. People think, oh, well, this is a K-8 program. They're just applying what was used in elementary to middle school. We know that that doesn't work. Middle school students are a very different animal than elementary students, but we believe that they still appreciate hands-on science. And Foss really takes an ABC approach, activity before content, where students are getting their hands dirty with science before they go in and read and reinforce and use integrated technology to back up those experiences.
I love that ABC approach of making sure that things are tactile, making sure that things are still hands-on. I mean, I know so much in the world right now is moving to technology and paperless and looking at a screen. Using these Foss kits really keeps kids grounded and really keeps teachers in the trenches here of those activities that you're having. I don't know, would you consider it project-based learning, or are those two different things to keep separate, the project-based learning and hands-on science standard? Like, where do you see those two terms?
I think there's overlap. I'm picturing a Venn diagram in my head where
yes.
Project-based learning can be hands-on and hands-on can be project-based learning, but that isn't necessarily always the case. And I think Foss does a good job of implementing both types of learning in different contexts throughout different courses in the program.
Talking to Mariel Warnock today from Delta Education, all about the great new middle school kits for science. When a school district is looking to bring this program in, what does a general purchase order look like? Are we buying one of these kits per teacher? Do we buy several kits per classroom? What kind of an investment are we looking at?
Well, one course title, so a collection of boxes like you see behind me, gives you enough materials for 5 consecutive class uses. So we recognize that's a little bit different than the way our K-5 program is set up, because we recognize that middle school teachers often they are exclusively science teachers, and they'll have different classes of students rotate through their classrooms. And so there are 5 class uses of materials. If that is sufficient for your school for a year, then great. You get one course per teacher and use those in your classroom. As I mentioned, there are 12 courses in the complete middle school scope and sequence. There are 5 physical science titles, 4 life science titles, and 3 earth science titles. We do offer 2 different configurations of kits. So for schools and districts where their middle schools are set up closer to high school science labs, where there's a lot of beakers and science specific equipment, we do offer a light kit option that excludes some of those materials. So that's a more cost-effective option for schools that are resourced that way and are looking to save a little bit of money. But our traditional kit does include all of the materials you need, everything from beakers and syringes and posters and fossil sets, everything you need to teach the investigations.
Mariel, are these boxes heavy? I mean, I know there's some teachers out there that might be doing STEM on a cart. Are these things that you can carry around, or is this, it's heavy material, keep it on a desk?
I have schlepped every single one of these boxes. And I am not an Olympic weightlifter. I do have a cart that I use to move them around the office here at our facility in Nashua Education. And when I was teaching high school science, I was a cart teacher. I didn't have my own classroom, and I had to shuttle from room to room on a cart. So I am familiar with that way of teaching and that way of of running your classroom, every single one of these boxes will absolutely fit on a cart.
And would you say that the materials in here are everyday household items that Foss is curating? Or, look, obviously you're going to have students breaking things, losing things, damaging things. What happens if we get into the heat of the school year and oops, something missed, or, I don't have something? What do we do there?
The great thing about Foss kits is that there are some, especially in those traditional kits that I mentioned, some items are relatively easy to come by. There might be cotton balls or craft sticks that are a certain size that, yes, you could find in a pinch at your local craft store if needed. However, Delta Education does offer every single item that's included in these kits available for separate individual purchase on our website in our online refill center, because we recognize that things happen in classrooms, and sometimes you might need to replace a balance, or you might need to replace a bag, a fossil set that is now lost 3 of its specimens. So all of those individual items, you don't have to buy a refill kit, you don't have to buy a new kit, you can just replace the item that is broken, damaged, missing, mangled individually.
So, Mariel, many school districts out there are already using the Foss curriculum and the Foss products. Are there options available if they want to switch, or if they want to bring in the newer middle school products?
Absolutely. There are 2 current editions of Foss Middle School out in the market. That first edition that I mentioned that came out in 2000. And then we do have Foss Middle School second edition that began rolling out in 2012. And we do offer conversion kits from that first edition that will save you money. So any resources from your first edition kits that are still used in the next generation edition of that kit, just roll over, and the kit includes any new items or additional quantities of items. So that's a way to save money. For second edition users, we have a little surprise for second edition users, since that's an edition that came out so recently. Anyone using currently or purchasing in the not terribly distant future Foss Middle School second edition, they will get an automatic digital upgrade to the next generation edition with a print investigation guide available for separate purchase. But that is out there, and it's a great way for schools to take advantage of all the new features in the next generation edition without waiting for some of the future courses to come out over the next 12 to 15 months.
It seems like you have a great system here, and so many people are taking advantage of it. Are you ready for the tough question here, Mariel?
I'm ready, Jeff.
Where do we find it?
We find it at deltaeducation.com/FossNG. You can see the complete K-8 scope and sequence there, as well as get complete information on any of the K-5 modules or middle school courses that we have currently available.
So, Mariel, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I love the new system. I love that you're moving into the middle school area. If anybody's out there listening, I will absolutely attest to the fact that this is amazing stuff. I was able to work with these systems last year, like I said, in 4th grade and 5th grade in my district. Kids are doing amazing things. Teachers are feeling comfortable because they're not only able to use the products, but get help, get the resources for those products. If you're a middle school teacher out there, this is something that you want to bring into the school year and you want to be an advocate for. Next generation science standards are real, they're here, and they're certainly going to be able to be brought into the classroom much easier using the Foss system. Mariel, where do you see the future for this? Where's the next year or two going for everybody at School Specialty, Delta Education, and the Foss products?
Well, our big focus over the next 12 to 18 months is finishing up the remaining courses in the Foss Next Generation Middle School program. K-5 is complete. Middle school has 12 courses. 6 of them are 10 to 12 week full courses, and 6 of them are 5 to 6 week short courses. The 3 that are out now that I mentioned earlier, Heredity and Adaptations, Human Systems, Interactions, and Waves, are all short courses. We have the next generation edition of the remaining 9 modules rolling out over those next 12 to 15 months. And so that's our big focus right now. Then we'll be looking ahead to what enhancements can we make based on user feedback that starts coming in on the usage of the Next Gen program to make it even better for teachers.
One last time, check everything out here over at deltaeducation.com, schoolspecialty.com, and you can, of course, find everybody over on Twitter at Delta Education. All the links and all the show notes, all the everything is going to be over on teachercast.net. Mariel, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on, Jeff. It's been great.
And thank you for being a part of the TeacherCast Educational Broadcasting Network. Thank you for making TeacherCast your home for professional development. My name is Jeff Bradbury. There's several great ways that you can reach out and be a part of our show each and every week. We love it when you find us on Twitter at TeacherCast. Email us at feedback@teachercast.net. Leave us a voicemail over at teachercast.net/voicemail. And of course, you can subscribe to all of our shows over on teachercast.net/iTunes and teachercast.net/YouTube. Until next time, keep up the great work in your classrooms and continue sharing your passions with your students.